Hi, it's Ronnie, and I'd like to welcome you to Drop the Color, Sonia Rivera's Memorial Hop. Sonia played with us on Punched Out Thursday to Die for as long as she could. She was battling cancer, and whenever she felt like it, she played, and she lost her battle to cancer, and so we wanted to do a memorial hop for her. I will be using some of Sonia's favorite things. She loves scrapping her family, especially her new granddaughter, Elena Grace, and she also loved using her punches and dies, which I will be using. And this collection here is Spectrum Sherbet, Strawberry Lemonade, and Sonia gifted that to me a couple of years ago, so I still had some, so I wanted to use it. I'm going to use that favorite lacy die there from Tim Holtz. And this is Diamond Press, and I'm going to be using it for my title. Well, you won't see me put my title on. I turned off the camera and apparently did not turn it back on, so you will not see the tip end of the video. And I almost forgot the title. And I guess that's what messed me up, was getting it done and some other things. This is a branding strip. I can't remember if it was off of this paper or another paper I started to use, but one or the other. But it is Spectrum Sherbet. I had been wanting to use that other paper for a while, but I seen this one, and this is a picture of my granddaughter, and she was doing a photo shoot. She took a picture of those trees, and she had to lay down on the ground for the best view. And she had to get all the way to the edge of their property because these trees was on the neighbor's property, and she wanted a picture of that for me to scrap, and she wanted a picture of the sunset for me to scrap. She did the whole photo shoot for me. I asked her, I said, do you want me to print them out so you can scrap them, because she does scrapbook? And she said, no, these are a gift for you. And so I am scrapping them. However, I am planning, if she likes them and wants them, to put them in her album. I cut two of these film strips out. I couldn't make up my mind which color I wanted to use, the orange, and it was a really pretty paper, but it had butterflies on it and some flowers, and I just went ahead and cut into it. So some of the orange pieces you will see print on them. Some I die cut out of places where you wouldn't. The other side has a lot of print though, because you could cut it apart. And then the other one is one of the solids that was in the pack. And like I said, I'm using the uh, strawberry lemonade. However, there was a few pieces of the tidal wave or something like that it's called. And so I did pick them up and put them in here because there is some green on this paper. Oh, and I got sidetracked when I was telling why I picked this paper over the one I really wanted to start with. But she did the sunset, and she had to wait and wait and wait. And she kept taking pictures waiting. And she had to go all the way to the corner of their property right by the road. And I kept telling her, don't get in the road. And so she didn't. She told me she didn't. She was doing FaceTime while she was doing all this, so I could see everything as she did it. Anyway, she went over there 3 times to see if the sun was setting yet, and it was taking its time. And it got to the place where she wanted, and she finally got her picture. But this paper reminded me of a sunset. The bottom colors, especially turning into yellow. And I thought, well, I'm just going to go ahead and use it. And I probably would have turned it over and used those on the top more for a sunset. But there's writing on here, and I wanted it right side up. I am making this cluster down here. I used my Tim Holtz picture wheel, and I cut it in half, and I cut the largest half for the bottom and the smallest piece for the top. And I also cut out some photo slides, and I am using, well, I taped them together so I could cut them out at the same time. And probably the first time I ever used it, I noticed that the negative part between the two could work also. So I am going to be using it on the layout up there at the top along with the smallest photo slide. And this camera, I went ahead and backed it with the pink I'm using, although I cut the photo itself out of the orange, the printed paper, so you will see print on it. And you'll see a design on the pink. I ended up putting a sequence on there because in my head I was thinking it looked like a reflection. Uh, let's see. Oh, and Sonia loved to use flowers. Another reason I thought I'd use this collection since she gave it to me, and she sent flowers also. And so those are some of the things that she really liked to use on her layouts. We both like some of the same things, so my layout probably don't look much different than usual. Um, oh, this spray, I love this little spray here. And so I had to use it in the biggest cluster. I'm See that skinny piece? That's the one I was talking about being the negative part that you would normally throw away, but I taped them together, all both of the two, and so it cut out pretty straight since I did it that way. And I've had these dies like forever, a very long time, and I've always liked using them too. I'm going to just glue the skinny one down the negative piece, but I put foam tape on top of the miniature slide and having it popped up. So I will be raising it up a little bit to kind of slide, well, that greenery right there under it. And when I started putting the flowers on here, I saved the smallest ones for up here at the top so they'd be sure and fit. Um, and I'm trying to use like all three of the colors that are in the strawberry lemonade. But looking at the layout now, I'm kind of glad the blue is up there at the top because I'm thinking this orange and green and bits of pink are showing up really well up there on top of that blue. And if you're looking at my layout and thinking, where's she going to put the title? That's what I was thinking when I finally remembered it. Yeah, the phone rang, I stopped, and then when I turned back, I thought, oh man, I don't have a title on here. And I probably thought, well, I don't know what I was thinking, that the camera was on still. I don't know. Because a lot of times, if I'm only going to be a minute, I will leave it on and just cut that part out rather than stop what I'm doing and, stand up there and flip it off because, it is above my head. But yeah, I just kept on scrapping. And next thing I knew, I was done and went to turn the camera off and it was not on. Shows how often I look up there at the camera. But while I'm adding the final pieces that you will see me add, I want to mention that down there below there is a playlist for everybody that is joining in on Sonia's Memorial Hop. I hope you check them all out and see what they created in memory of our friend Sonia. She was just the sweetest person and soft voice. I mean, sometimes you had to listen close, but always beautiful layouts when she got done. Uh, yeah, I'm just adding bits and pieces here, but it's going to cut off pretty quick. Well, you will see me leave to answer the phone, but yeah, it is going to cut off. And my title will be on there when I come back. And I did use that orange pattern paper that was so pretty and it worked great for all my dies and it's treasured photos. and I thought that would work for either her or my album. And this is the bottom cluster with that camera, and the ring there cuts out separately. So I cut a sliver of foam tape and put behind it and raised it up. And there's the cluster by the photo of Hope. And I did add a few leaves down there at the bottom. And as you can all tell, I added some sequins also. And there's the title. And isn't that the prettiest paper for a title? Oh, I loved it. And I decided to move my photo down a little bit, so I already had my title on there when I decided that, so I had to add some tabs and stuff up there at the top. And there is my top cluster. And I think all I added up there was some sequins. I didn't go wild and add anything else. And here, oh, I somehow, when I moved the photo, the leaf I had besides that flower on the right went flying. So I had to add a couple other leaves instead. But that's it. That's my layout. And I want to thank you all so very much for joining me while I created my layout today, and for joining us all on this hop in memory of Sonia. Hope you all have a happy, scrappy week. Bye.